Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we dive into the juiciest Hollywood moments, and today, we've got a story that's got everyone buzzing. Picture this, Sylvester Stallone, the legend behind Rocky and Rambo, sitting on the bright, colorful set of the Kelly Clarkson Show, ready to charm the audience with his iconic gravelly voice and larger-than-life presence. Kelly Clarkson, with her infectious energy, is all smiles, cracking jokes and setting the stage for what should have been a fun, light-hearted interview. But things took a turn. Oh boy, did they take a turn. According to sources close to the production, the tension started brewing before the cameras even rolled. Stallone, known for his intense personality, arrived at the studio in a bit of a mood, reportedly frustrated about some pre-show discussions. Apparently, the show's team wanted to dive deep into his personal life, including his recent family dynamics showcased on The Family Stallone, the reality series that follows him, his wife Jennifer Flavin, and their daughters Sophia, Sistine, and Scarlett. Now, Sly's always been private about certain aspects of his life, despite the reality show, and he wasn't thrilled about the direction the questions were headed. Kelly, on the other hand, is known for her no-filter, heart-on-her-sleeve style, and she wasn't about to shy away from asking the tough stuff. The audience, blissfully unaware, was hyped for what they thought would be a nostalgic chat about Rocky Balboa's iconic underdog story, or maybe some behind-the-scenes tea from Tulsa King, Stallone's hit crime drama on Paramount+. But as the cameras started rolling, you could feel the vibe shift. Kelly kicked things off with her usual warmth, asking Sly about his incredible career spanning over 5 decades. Did you know his films have grossed over $7.5 billion worldwide? That's wild. But then she pivoted, innocently enough, to his family life, mentioning a recent episode of The Family Stallone where he and Jennifer opened up about their near divorce in 2022. Sly's face tightened, his signature snarl more pronounced, and he gave a short, clipped answer, clearly not wanting to go there. The audience picked up on the awkwardness, and Kelly, sensing the tension, tried to lighten the mood with the joke about Sly's action hero days, asking if he still does his own stunts at 79. He chuckled, but it was forced, and you could tell he was holding back. Then came the moment that set social media on fire. Kelly, maybe not reading the room, doubled down and asked about the emotional toll of his public life, referencing his late son Sage and how Sly copes with personal loss while being Hollywood's toughest guy. That's when things got heated. Stallone leaned forward, his voice low and intense, saying, "Kelly, I'm here to talk about my work, not my pain." The crowd went silent, and you could cut the tension with a knife. Kelly, trying to recover, apologized but pushed a little more, saying she just wanted fans to see the real Sly. That was it. He stood up, unclipped his mic, and said, "I'm done here," before walking off the set. The audience gasped, and Kelly was left stunned, trying to laugh it off as the show cut to commercial. Social media exploded with clips of the moment, fans debating whether Kelly crossed the line or if Sly overreacted. What really happened behind the scenes? Stick around, because we're just getting started. Alright, let's unpack what led to this jaw-dropping moment. To understand why Sylvester Stallone walked off the Kelly Clarkson Show, we've got to rewind and look at the context. Sly's been in the spotlight since 1976 when Rocky hit theaters and made him a household name. That film wasn't just a hit-up, it was a cultural phenomenon, earning him 2 Oscar nominations for Best Actor and Best Screenplay. Fast forward to 2025, and he's still a force, starring in Tulsa King and keeping the Rambo and Expendables franchises alive. But the man's had a tough journey. Born in Hell's Kitchen, New York, in 1946, Sly faced challenges from the start. The complications at birth left him with partial facial paralysis, giving him that iconic snarl and slurred speech. He was bullied as a kid, bounced around foster care, and even spent time homeless, sleeping in a bus terminal before landing his first big role. That grit shaped him, but it also made him fiercely protective of his personal life. The Family Stallone, which premiered on Paramount+ in 2023, was a big step for him, letting fans into his home with Jennifer and their daughters. Season 2, which dropped in February 2025, showed them moving to Palm Beach and exploring their Italian roots, but it also touched on heavy stuff like his reconciliation with Jennifer after their near divorce. That's where things get sticky. Sources say Sly agreed to the reality show to bond with his daughters and boost their careers. Sophie is a podcaster, Sistine's an actress and model, and Scarlett's breaking into fashion. But he's still a private guy at heart, and the show's openness left him feeling exposed. When Kelly's team prepped her for the interview, they reportedly pushed for a deep dive into his emotional side, thinking it'd make for compelling TV. Kelly, who's known for connecting with guests on a personal level, didn't see the harm. She's been open about her own struggle as a divorce, mental health, the works, so she figured Sly would be game to share. But Sly, who's been burned by the media before, remember the brutal reviews for his 1978 film Paradise Alley? Wasn't having it. Insiders say he'd specifically asked the producers to focus on his career or maybe talk about Tulsa King's third season, where he plays mobster Dwight Manfredi, or his art collection, which he's super passionate about. But the show's team, chasing ratings, leaned into the family drama. During the pre-show chat, Sly reportedly got heated, warning them not to go too personal. By the time they went live, he was already on edge. Kelly's first few questions were fine, but when she brought up Sylvester Stallone's son from his first marriage, who tragically died in 2012 at 36, Sly felt blindsided. Sage's death is a wound that's never fully healed, and Sly's only spoken about it sparingly, like in a 1996 People interview where he described their different personalities. Kelly's question, though well-intentioned, hit a nerve, and Sly's walk-off was less about her and more about protecting his boundaries. Fans on X are split. Some say Kelly should have respected his limits, while others think Sly's reaction was too dramatic for daytime TV. What's clear is that this clash was a perfect storm of miscommunication and raw emotion. But was there more to it? Let's dig deeper. So, what happened right after Sylvester Stallone stormed off the set? The Kelly Clarkson Show crew was in full damage control mode. Picture this. The audience is whispering, Kelly's trying to keep her cool, and the producers are scrambling backstage. According to an insider, Sly didn't just leave the set, he left the building, hopping into his car and heading straight to his hotel. The show's team was left to figure out how to fill the rest of the segment. Kelly, ever the pro, pivoted to a musical performance, belting out one of her hits to keep the energy up. But the audience wasn't buying it up. They wanted answers. Clips of the walk-off hit X within minutes, with hashtags like #SlyWalksOff and #KellyClash trending by the end of the day. Some fans posted slowed-down versions of the moment, analyzing Sly's body language, his clenched fists, the way he tossed the mic like it was a grenade. Others praised Kelly for staying composed, though a few accused her of pushing too hard. Backstage, the mood was chaotic. The producers reportedly tried calling Sly's team to see if he'd return for a taped apology or a redo, but his publicist shut it down, saying he needed space. By the next morning, tabloids were running wild with headlines, some claiming Sly was disrespected and others painting him as a diva. But let's get real. Sly's no stranger to controversy. Back in the 80s, he got roasted for Paradise Alley, with critics calling it an ego trip. He's also had public spats, like his falling out with co-star Joe Spinell during Nighthawks in 1981. This walk-off, though, felt different. It wasn't about ego, it was personal. Kelly's team issued a statement on X, saying, "We respect Sylvester's privacy and regret any discomfort caused. We're huge fans and hope to have him back." But Sly stayed silent, which only fueled the fire. Some X users dug up old interviews, pointing out how Sly's always been guarded about his family, especially after losing Sage and his half-sister Tony Ann in 2012. Others speculated that the stress of Tulsa King's grueling filming schedule, Stallone reportedly earns over $1 million per episode, might have left him on edge. Then there's the reality show angle. The Family Stallone has been a hit, with an 89% Rotten Tomatoes score for Season 1, but it's also put Sly in a vulnerable spot. Season 2, which follows the family's move east, dives into his role as an empty nester, which might have made him extra sensitive to questions about his kids. Kelly, meanwhile, faced her own backlash. Some fans called her insensitive, while her supporters argued she was just doing her job, trying to connect with the guest. Kelly later addressed it on her show, saying, "I never want anyone to feel uncomfortable. I misread the moment, and I'm sorry." Her apology was heartfelt, but the internet wasn't done. Memes popped up, with Rocky Balboa quotes like "it ain't about how hard you hit" overlaid on clips of Sly walking off. The drama even sparked debates about talk show culture. Do hosts push too far for emotional moments? It's worth noting that Kelly's show has had other tense moments recently, with reports of Daddy Swims and Randy Rainbow walking off, though those stories seem less substantiated. What's the real takeaway here? Maybe it's that even legends like Sly have their limits, and daytime TV thrives on pushing them. Now, let's talk about the fallout and what it means for both Sylvester Stallone and Kelly Clarkson. The walk-off didn't just make waves on sets and triples through Hollywood. For Sly, this moment could have been a PR hiccup, but it's also a reminder of his enduring star power. At 79, he's still headlining major projects like Tulsa King, where he plays a mobster navigating a new criminal empire in Oklahoma. The show's third season, greenlit in November 2024, has him pulling in massive paychecks and critical praise. But the walk-off raised questions about his temperament. Some industry insiders whispered that Sly's been under pressure, juggling filming, producing, and his reality show. The family Stallone, while successful, has forced him to open up in ways he's not used to. A 2023 People article quoted him calling himself the luckiest son of a bitch for his marriage to Jennifer, but the near divorce they weathered was a public sore spot. Fans on X speculated that the walk-off might hurt his image, with comments like, "Sly's too old for tantrums," but others defended him, saying he's earned the right to set boundaries after 50 years in the game. His supporters pointed to his resiliency. "Remember, this is the guy who went from homeless to Hollywood icon, writing Rocky in 3 days and fighting to star in it." For Kelly, the incident was a rare misstep. Her show, launched in 2019, has been a ratings juggernaut, thanks to her relatable charm and powerhouse vocals. But this clash highlighted the tightrope talk show hosts walk, balancing authenticity with respect for a guest's privacy. Kelly's fans rallied around her, noting her track record of heartfelt interviews with stars like Dwayne Johnson and Reba McEntire. Still, some critics argued she needs to read her guests better, especially someone like Sly, who's not known for spilling his guts. The incident also sparked broader conversations about celebrity interviews. Back in the 80s, Stallone got flack for his flashy lifestyle, selling off fancy cars after realizing they screamed self-aggrandizing asshole, as he told Rolling Stone in 1982. Today, he's more grounded, focusing on family and legacy, but the media still loves poking at his vulnerabilities. Ex-posts compared the walk-off to other talk show dramas, like Ellen DeGeneres' controversial moments or Oprah's infamous Tom Cruise couch-jumping episode. The consensus? Audiences crave raw moments, but there's a line. Kelly's team reportedly reached out to Sly's camp to smooth things over, and there's talk of a follow-up interview to clear the air. Meanwhile, Sly's been spotted back on the Tulsa King set, looking unfazed, rocking his signature bolo ties and cracking jokes with co-stars like Max Casella. The man's a pro at bouncing back. Just look at his career. From the lows of Stop or My Mom Will Shoot to the highs of Creed, he's always found a way to stay relevant. Will this incident fade into obscurity, or will it haunt their careers? Only time will tell. But it's safe to say both Sly and Kelly are too big to be cancelled over one awkward moment. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Why does this moment resonate so much? Sylvester Stallone's walk-off isn't just about a clash with Kelly Clarkson, it's a snapshot of where Hollywood's at in 2025. Talk shows like Kelly's thrive on emotional vulnerability, especially in an era where reality TV and social media blur the line between public and private. Sly's been navigating that tension for decades. Back in the 70s, he was the underdog, scraping by with roles in films like The Lords of Flatbush before Rocky changed everything. By the 80s, he was a megastar, but critics slammed him for flops like Rhinestone. He's always had to balance his tough guy image with the softer side fans crave, like when he played a powerless sheriff in Copland, gaining weight to shed his action hero armor. The Family Stallone is his latest attempt to show that softer side, but it's a double-edged sword. Fans love the access, but it leaves him open to probing questions. Kelly, meanwhile, represents a new generation of hosts who lean into authenticity. Her show's strength is its heart, but that can clash with old-school stars like Sly, who grew up in an era when actors kept their personal lives under wraps. The walk-off also taps into a cultural debate. How much do celebrities owe us? Sly's given us iconic characters Rocky, Rambo, Cobra, and a career that spanned 6 decades. Does that mean he has to bare his soul on daytime TV? Fans on X are torn. Some say he should have rolled with it, like when he joked about his injuries on the Graham Norton show. Others argue that Kelly's team should have prepped better, knowing Sly's history with personal questions. The incident also highlights the pressure on aging stars to stay relevant. At 79, Sly's still doing stunts, producing, and starring in high-octane projects, but he's also a dad and husband navigating a changing industry. Tulsa King's success shows he's still got it, but moments like this walk-off remind us he's human. For Kelly, it's a lesson in boundaries. Her shows had other tense moments. The reports of Teddy Swims and John Bon Jovi walk-offs, though unconfirmed, suggest her bold style can backfire. The drama is also a win for the Kelly Clarkson Show's ratings. A clips of the incident racked up millions of views, proving there's no such thing as bad publicity. But it raises questions about the format. Are talk shows pushing too hard for viral moments? Compare this to Stallone's 1982 Rolling Stone interview, where he admitted to selling his cars to ditch his ego. That was raw, but on his terms. Today, X and YouTube amplify every misstep, turning a tense moment into a global spectacle. As for Sly and Kelly, they'll survive. He's weathered worse. He'd like the Razzie Awards for Rocky Eva, and she's got a loyal fan base. But this clash is a reminder that even legends have limits, and not every interview needs to be a therapy session. So, where do we go from here? The Sylvester Stallone-Kelly Clarkson clash is already fading from the headlines, but it's left a mark. For Sly, it's a chance to double down on what he does best, telling stories through his work. Tulsa King's 3rd season, set to drop in late 2025, has fans buzzing about Dwight Manfredi's next move, and there's talk of a 4th season in the works. The Family Stallone might get a 3rd season too, especially after its strong Rotten Tomatoes score and the family's trip to Italy, which resonated with viewers. Sly's always been about redemption. Just look at Rocky Balboa's comeback in Creed, earning him another Oscar nod. He'll likely address the walk-off in his own way, maybe with a sly joke on Jimmy Fallon or a heartfelt post on Instagram, where he's got over 20 million followers. For Kelly, this is a bump in the road. Her show's a powerhouse, and she's got a knack for bouncing back, like when she handled backlash over a controversial guest in 2023. She might invite Sly back for a redo, maybe focusing on his art collection or his fitness books to keep things light. The incident also sparks a bigger question. How do we balance respect for celebrities' privacy with our hunger for their stories? Sly's life, his rise from poverty, his battles with critics, his personal loss mirrors the underdog tales he's famous for. But he's not Rocky. He's a real guy with real pain. Kelly, with her empathetic style, might have misjudged where to draw the line, but her apology shows she's willing to learn. On X, fans are already moving on, with some calling for a Stallone-Clarkson reunion to squash the beef. Others are sharing Rocky gifs, reminding us why we love Sly in the first place. The walk-off's a blip in their careers, but it's a fascinating look at the clash between old Hollywood and new media. Will Sly and Kelly patch things up? Will we see them laugh it off on a red carpet somewhere? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, this moment's got us talking, and that's what showbiz is all about. Thanks for watching, folks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Did Kelly go too far, or was Sly too sensitive? Hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you next time with more Hollywood tea.